ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Today we are going to discuss on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 20. In the last month's discussion we had discussed on verse 19. The verse 19 was Yainam veti hantaram यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer or that he is slain does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not nor is slain. This verse is Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यं शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Say two more times. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Word by word. Na, never. Jayate, takes birth. Mriyate, never dies. Va, either. Kadachit, at any time, past, present or future. Na, never. Ayam, this. Bhutva, came into being. Bhavita, will come to be. Va, or na, not. Bhuya, or has come to be. Aja, unborn. Nitya, eternal. Shashvata, permanent. Ayam, this. Purana, the oldest. Na, never. Hanyate, is killed. Hanyamane, being killed. Sharire, by the body. Translation. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes its birth in the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death, and because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc. of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old, as the body does. The so-called old man, therefore, feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the 6 changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad also we find a similar passage which reads, "Na chayate mriyate va vipaschin nayam kotaschin na vibhuva kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire." Katha Upanishad 1 to 18. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but here in this verse there is one special word, vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to clouds or for some other reason. But the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the supreme consciousness, supreme because the supreme consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teachings of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu-Atma, and the super soul, Vibhu-Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad in this way. Ano Raniyan Mahato Mahyan Atmasya Jantor Nihito Guhayam Tamakritah Pashyati Vitashoko Dhatu Prasadan Mahimanam Katha Upanishad 1 to 20. Both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body, within the same heart of the living being. And only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapters. And Arjuna is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Before we discuss on this verse, we'll say a few prayers in glorification of Guru Parampara and Sri Krishna. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namashrestham Manamapi Shachiputram Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Murupurim Mathurim Goshthavati Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pradita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Pitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Translation: For the soul there is never birth nor death, nor having once been does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. This is Krishna continues to mention in these verses in the chapter 2 about the eternal nature of our real self. This is what can be accomplished in human form of life, this realization of who we really are. Therefore, this path of spiritual knowledge is called the path of self-realization. So because there is nothing extraneous to be achieved in the path of self-realization. The only thing that needs to be done is to go internally, deep within, and understand who we really are. And this is what Krishna mentions in this verse. He's explaining about the real nature of all the living entities in this universe. The real nature is na jayate mriyate va kadachin. So this particular verse, that this external, the original self is it na jayate na mriyate. So the original self never dies, never goes anywhere, never dies. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. At any time, at any point of time, the real self does not die. So this is the na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. So there was never a time in the past when we did not exist, never a time in the future when we will not exist, and presently we know that we are existing. So nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. So never a time in the past we did not exist, never a time in the present we are not existing, because the moment we are engaging in some discussion, hearing, whatever activities we are doing, that means it is being done due to the presence of consciousness within the body. Otherwise, no activities can be done. So what is the difference between a living body and a dead body? What is the difference? The body is still there. So why is one body called the living body and another body called the dead body? What is the difference? So that is the difference. The difference is the consciousness. The consciousness is not there in the dead body, and the consciousness is there in the living body. So this is the difference. It's very there is no need of having any spiritual understanding. This is very common sense. It's like an understanding that can be had from common sense, from even from just looking at things. So what is the difference? So consciousness. And what is the consciousness? So consciousness is something that enables the body to work. So without consciousness, the body will not work. So we can give the example of battery or electricity for an appliance. So for an appliance to work, it either needs to have a battery or it needs to have a charge from electricity that is coming. If the battery has dissipated and there is no way to charge the battery, then the appliance has got no value. It is, even though the appliance is fully there, but it has no value because it cannot be used. So the consciousness is it's a similar metaphor that can be used for the consciousness, and this is what Krishna has been giving, has been helping Arjuna to understand in this verse, that because Arjuna is in a great predicament, because his own close relatives and especially his elders like Bhishma and Drona are on the other side of the battlefield, and he does not want to fight. So here Krishna is, so one of the things here is to understand that this is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsava. So this is the first verse in Bhagavad Gita. So it is very important to understand that the battle or the war is being fought for protecting dharma, for protecting the religious principles. So this is the danger in terms of knowledge. So knowledge has got its own power. So knowledge is very powerful, and that power can be used to in serving everyone, or it can be used in exploiting people as well, in going in a wrong direction. So, for example, in this war, it is Dharma Kshetra. So Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetra is actually a place where Dharma Macharet. So all the dharmic activities are done in Kurukshetra, and therefore this Dharma Yuddha, this war between Kauravas and Pandavas in terms of engaging in religious principles was fought in Kurukshetra. And the point that we are trying to make here is in terms of that the knowledge is so powerful that it can, there is a big, what to say, it can, there is a big chance that there is a possibility that it can be misused by people who are not in the path of the dharma. For example, so here Krishna is giving this example that since everyone is eternal and since everyone has been existing always, even the previous verse was mentioning that na chainam hantaram nayam hanti na hanyate ubhau tavno vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate ya enam veti hantaram yas chainam hanyate matam ubhau tavno vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. So Krishna is mentioning there that one who thinks that I am the slayer and the other person who is being slain thinks that I am being slain, both of them do not know, because because the soul can neither slay nor the soul is slain, because it is eternally existing. Yeah, it has the real us has nothing to do with whatever happens externally. It is it is totally it is totally in a separate environment. The realization of that we are that tattvamasi. There is this great Vedic of aphorism which says tattvam asi, you are that. So aham brahmasmi. That is another Vedic aphorism which says that we are eternally existing. So this and all this changes that takes place is external. It has nothing to do with who we really are. So that understanding is the first step in spiritual realization, in the spiritual path. This understanding that whatever goes externally, sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labha jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujasva naivam papam avapsisi. So Krishna mentions to Arjuna that there is sometimes there is happiness, sometimes there is sad, sometimes we are not happy, unhappy, and sometimes there is profit, sometimes there is loss, sometimes there is victory, sometimes there is defeat. So it's a duality. So this material world is based on dvandva. So nirmana moha jitasanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sangye gachyantya mudha padam avyayam tat. So this is a very beautiful verse where Krishna says that what are the qualities of someone who can go to the padam avyayam, who can go to that state which is eternal, which can never be vanquished, the state of no vanquishing, no vanquishing. So it starts with Krishna gives the first quality. He says is nirmana moha. So one who does not have mana and moha. Mana is pride, and moha is attachment. So nirmana moha. So one who does not have pride and attachment. And jita sangha dosha. Then there is this sangha. So it's again related to moha. So the attachment, when we are with people, we get bound to some personalities, and that bond is, if that bond is helping us to realize our real nature, then that is good. Then that does not have then that is actually leading one to the real path. But if the bond is making one more into the bodily concept of life, then that is an issue. Then that needs to be resolved. So this jita sangha dosha. So this sangha, that is the attachment to something that attaches us to body. So that is dosha. So that Krishna says that is an issue that needs to be resolved. So nirmana moha jita sangha dosha adhyatma nitya. So one who is always endeavoring to understand the real nature. So that is adhyatma. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam yadato ajnanam anyatha. So this Krishna mentions that adhyatma jnana nityatvam. So one who is always trying to be in a state of understanding the real spiritual nature. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam, always. Tattva jnanartha darshanam. And then what is a tattva? What is the real truth behind everything? So one who is always trying to understand that. Darshanam, one who is trying to see that. Etad jnanam iti proktam yadato ajnanam anyatha. So Krishna mentions that I consider that to be real knowledge. This knowledge of self-realization. So Krishna mentions that the knowledge of self-realization is a real knowledge. Tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam yadato ajnanam anyatha. Everything else is ignorance. So that is the unfortunate situation. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nranam Santi Sahasrasa Apashyatam atmatattvam graheshu grahamedinam. So Shukadeva Goswami mentions to Parikshit Maharaj. So Shukadeva Goswami is son of Vyasadeva, and Parikshit Maharaj is son of Abhimanyu, grandson of Arjuna. And Shukadeva Goswami is mentioning to Parikshit Maharaj that Shrotavyadini Rajendra, that in the material world, one is inclined to Shrotavya, to hear Adini, lot of things, hear lot of things. Rajendra, he's addressing Parikshit Maharaj as Rajendra because he was the emperor. He was Emperor Parikshit. So Shukadeva Goswami says that people are inclined to hear a lot of things in this material world. Nrinam santi sahasrasa. There are thousands of those things. Apashyatam atmatattvam. And what are those things related to? Not related to understanding our real nature. All those thousands and thousands of different things are related to how the external body, how to make the external body better, it's all based on the external mind and body. It's not based on our understanding of who we really are. So, Nirnam Santi Apashyatam Atmatattvam. So that why that is happening? Because the inclination to engage in understanding who we really are is not there, unfortunately. Apashyatam. So one is not seeing Atmatattvam. So Krishna is actually explaining Atmatattvam in this verse. So when he's saying this, Na jayate mriyate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya. He's mentioning Atmatattvam. He's mentioning the truth about our real nature. The real nature, which is Nayam Bhutva Bhavita Vana Bhuya Aja, which is Aja, unborn. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport about that the birth is there for the body, but the soul, the symptom of consciousness, the soul is the cause of consciousness within the body. If soul is not there, the body will not have consciousness, and ultimately the body will be a dead body. So Srila Prabhupada actually mentions in the purport about that, how the symptom of how consciousness means, how the presence of consciousness means that there is the living entity, and that's why the consciousness is there. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the sun in the purport, that even if the sun is not directly visible, we still know that the sun is there. Especially in a country like Ireland, where most of the time it is cloudy, we don't directly see the sun, but we know that the sun is still existing. It's not that the sun is not risen, because sun is not seen in the sky. So how do we know that even though we don't directly see the sun, but how do we know that the sunrise has happened? Because the brightness is still there, even though the clouds are covering the sun. The brightness is the presence of brightness implies that the sun is there. So similarly, the presence of consciousness in all the living entities, it doesn't matter what kind of living entity it is. It doesn't matter. So Krishna actually mentions Sarva Yonisha Kaunteya, Murteya Sambhavantiya, Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir, Aham Bija Pradapita. So Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that all the living entities, it doesn't matter what kind of living entities. So it can be tree, it can be plant, it can be birds, it can be animals, it can be the aquatics. There are 8,400,000 species of life. That is also mentioned in Vedas. Vedas has such a clarity that everything is clearly mentioned. So all those types of lives is what is causing that all those different types of living entities to to be conscious. It is a living entity. It is that spirit soul that is there within all the living entities, that is enabling living entities to do the daily activities. And once that goes off from the body has got no life. The body is dead. This is what is mentioned. There is a very interesting analogy of that we can see in terms of the sun and the clouds. There is another interesting analogy, and that is in terms of that how is a cloud formed? The cloud is formed when the sun is shining its heat. The heat is going into all the water resources that we have, like the ocean and the rivers and the lakes and the ponds. It evaporates, and then it becomes cloud, and then it comes back. So it's a cycle. The water is getting recycled. So that's a natural recycling process that this material world has. And the example given is that just like sun is by nature independent, in the sense that sun actually cannot be covered, but because we are seeing the sun from here and the clouds are scattered on the sky, we feel that the sun is covered, but actually the sun is so huge it cannot be covered. So it's the perception. So from where we are perceiving, it feels as if it is covered. So similarly, this the real us, the real eternal soul, can never come under the influence of the this material energy. It is always ajo nityam shashvatoyam purana. So it is primeval. It is unborn. It is eternally existing. It is permanent. And when the body is destroyed, the na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So when the body gets destroyed, our real existence is not destroyed. We still exist. The body gets destroyed, but we do not get destroyed. So that understanding is extremely important, and that is so just like the sun. If it feels that the clouds have covered the sun, but actually it's because the sun is so huge, the cloud cannot cover. Similarly, it feels as if we are under this ignorance. We are actually, like, that's why it is called self-realization. The path, spiritual path, is called self-realization because it is the ignorance which is causing it, and the ignorance cannot be there eternally. At certain point of time, the ignorance has to get dissipated, and therefore every living entity therefore has a probability to go to the end of the path of self-realization and get self-realized, be self-realized. There is, every living entity has got that same opportunity. So therefore Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priya ye bhajanti tu me bhaktya mayi te teshu chapya. So Krishna mentions that I am equal to all the living entities. Samoham sarva bhuteshu, all the living entities. Name dveshyosti na priya. No one is I neither envy anyone nor anyone is close to me. So name dveshyosti na priya ye bhajanti tu me bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyam. And what is happening is it's the reciprocation that is happening. Whenever there is, the devotee wants to engage in the devotional service of the Lord, then the Lord is also reciprocating with the devotee. Another, again, the example coming from the rain, we can take the example. When the rain is falling equally on a fertile land and also on an unfertile land, like a mountain, so it falls equally. But because fertile land has the capability to grow something, some crops, some plants, the plants grow there. And because an unfertile land or a hard rock does not have that capacity, nothing grows there. So this, and that is it's the, how much are we receptive towards the message that the Lord is sending at every moment to us. That is the concept here. How much are we receptive? Are we really interested in understanding our real nature, or are we not? That is the biggest question that needs to be answered. The real nature. So are we really after this Satyananda, this real pleasure? So this, when we can see in examples in like for example, some person who has achieved quite a lot in this material world in terms of name, fame, wealth, so many things. People could achieve millions, billions. They could become the top billionaires, and still the dissatisfaction would be there. What is the reason for the dissatisfaction? The reason is because satisfaction can only happen in relationships. In when there is different relationships established, then satisfaction happens. And in that exchange of relationships, the satisfaction lies in the exchange of relationships, this reciprocation that happens. So that's where the satisfaction is, real satisfaction. It's not there in the dead objects. Absolutely, it's not there. So for example, whatever, wealth or something, of course it is needed. It's not that to survive it is needed. So it's not that we are not saying that we don't need it, but after a certain point, it actually loses its value. It becomes just another thing that we have. So therefore, that this understanding of us as a person is very important. That we are eternal persons, and we have an eternal. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport as well about this. We'll read that particular part of the purport where Srila Prabhupada mentions about the consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teachings of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. So this is this understanding of the difference between the Lord and the living entities. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna tani aham vetha sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. So Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that, O Arjuna, bahuni me vyatitani, that janmani tavacha Arjuna. So you have taken a lot of birth, and I have also taken a lot of births. So Krishna says this to Arjuna. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna tani aham vetha sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. But I know all my previous births, but you don't know, O Arjuna. So that is the difference. So Arjuna is actually a liberated living entity. Otherwise, he cannot have such a reciprocal relationship with the Lord as a friend. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi edad uttamam. So Krishna mentions that you are my devotee and you are my friend. That's why I'm telling this. That's why you're able to understand this rahasya, this secret, which is transcendental secret, which is topmost. So this the the Lord and the living entity, that is the difference. It's very important to understand that uh, that the living entity, even when liberated, has the tendency to be forgetful of the real nature, whereas the Lord is never forgetful of the real nature. So that's why another name of Lord is Achyuta. Achyuta, so Achyuta generally means the tendency to fall down, whereas Achyuta is one who never falls down. So this is another name of the Lord. So this understanding is very important here. Therefore, Krishna says, "Daivi hiesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite." Krishna mentions to Arjuna that this material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. Mama maya duratyaya. It's extremely difficult to overcome my material energy. But how can it be overcome? Mam eva ye prapadyante. If someone is surrendering onto me, then Maya Mitam Tarantite. Then Krishna ensures that the living entity crosses this ocean of birth and death. So it's called Bhavasagar. So it's why is it an ocean? Why is it called? And so that's again a metaphor that is given because it is because the living entity has been taking birth since time immemorial. And because of that, this identification with the body is very strong. Every time the living entity is taking a birth, it is getting attached to that particular body. Who is getting attached? It's the false ego. It's the soul by nature is independent. It is Swarat. So just like the Lord is Swarat, the small quantity of that independence is there in the soul as well, and therefore it is independent in that way. But because it is small in quantity, so we can go back to the purport here, where Srila Prabhupada mentions about there are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, the Vibho Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad in this way. Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Jantor Nihito Guhayam Tam Akrita Pashyati Vitashoko Dhatu Prasadan Mahimana Atmana. So both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being. And only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. This is the understanding that where Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatma iti cha api ukto dehesmin purusha para. So this verse where it is mentioned about Paramatma, this super soul. So what does the super soul do? It is Upadrashta, oversees all the activities, Anumanta, and it gives the permission. So this is the example Srila Prabhupada also gives in many of his lectures. How the example of an adamant child, the parent is saying to the child that don't do this, for example, touch the fire. And then if the child still wants to do that and somehow does that when parent is not looking, then who is suffering? The child is suffering, but at the same time, the parent is also suffering along with the child, even more. The parent actually suffers even more because, again, the relationship, as we mentioned before, it is relationships that is the source of happiness. Nothing else. There is no other source of happiness. Arjuna actually mentions it one of the verses as well, that what am I going to do if all my relatives and all if I'm going to kill all my relatives, who am I going to enjoy it with? Arjuna actually mentions that Rajyam Suranam Apichadipatyam. So this Nahi Prapashyami Mahapanudyad Yachokam Uchoshanam Indriyanam. So this Avapma Bhuma Vasapatnya Ridyam Rajyam Suranam Apichadipatyam. So this Arjuna actually says that verse that Nahi Prapashyami Mamapanudyat Yat Shokam Uchoshanam Indriyanam Avapya Bhumau Asapatna Riddham Rajyam Suranam Apichadipatyam. So what am I going to do with all this Chadipatyam, this emperorship? All after so if at the end of the day it's I'm getting it on the basis of killing my own relatives on the other side. That's a very valid point that Arjuna makes there. Then in the end he says that Yashreyasyam Nishitam Bruhitan Me Shishyaseham Syadi Mam Tvam Prapannam Karpanya Dosho Apada Swabhava Yashreya Pruchami Tvam Dharma Sammoda Cheta. This Dharma Sammoda. So he's saying that I don't know what to do now. I am in a state of flux. Whether I should fight the war or I should come out of the war and just go to the forest and meditate. So this then Krishna says Ashocyanam anavashochastvam prajnavadamsya bhashase gatasuna gatasumscha nanu shochanti pandita. So Krishna mentions that to Arjuna that why are you lamenting for something that doesn't need lamentation? Ashocyan anavashochastvam. And you're speaking as if you're a learned person. Prajnavadamsya bhashase. Nanu shochanti pandita. So a real person in knowledge does not lament either for the living or for the dead. So this is what is the reason? The reason is because of the understanding that everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. This Dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gada mamupetya punarjanmam Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So first Krishna uses the word Dukkhalayam, so abode of misery. So then so people will say that this is really pessimistic. How can we be in abode of misery? Then he gives a positive point there. Ashashvatam. Even though it is abode of misery, it is temporary. So there is no permanent misery. Or the permanent misery is only when there is identification with the body. So the identification with the body causes the misery. Otherwise, there is no misery, because the soul is by nature Satchidananda. It is the nature of the. So for Krishna, there is this beautiful verse which says Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, and he is an embodiment of truth, eternality, and bliss. Satchidananda. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karanam. He himself has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everything, and he is the cause of all causes. This is and similarly the living entity, because they are part and parcel of the Lord. Mama eva amsha. So Mama eva amsha. They are always my part and parcel. Krishna is saying that always, at any point of time. So the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. What does that mean? That means the relationship is always intact. Wherever the living entity is, it doesn't matter what birth the living entity has taken. It really doesn't matter. The relationship is always intact. That relationship with the Lord, it's always eternally existing. So therefore, it's just a matter of understanding that relationship, understanding that we are eternally linked to the Lord. So there's this beautiful verse which says Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabo Nai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroy Uday. It's in Bengali. So it's just saying that this love for the Lord, love for Krishna, it's eternally established. in all the living entities. There is absolutely eternally established. How does one understand that it is there? And Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, when this process of hearing about the Lord is done with Shuddha Chitta, with the mind that is cleansed. So it's like a catch-22 here. To cleanse the mind, one has to hear. And when one hears, one cleanses the mind. So it's like a circle. It's again a circle where one hears, the mind gets cleansed. The mind is cleansed, one hears. One hears, the mind gets cleansed. The mind is cleansed, one hears. Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte. Then when that cycle is continuously going on, Karaya Uday. So it gets revealed. It's a path of revelation. So when it is revealed, then Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai. Sevon mukhe jivhado swayam eva surati yada. So this, the name, fame, pastimes, this teaching of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, all this is cannot be understood by blunt material senses. It is said in the scriptures that what is a blunt, just through the material eyes, material ears, material tongue, this cannot be savored. One cannot savor all this transcendental knowledge. But when the engagement of service is done as a loving devotional service, when the living entity is engaging in the loving devotional service of the Lord, then Sevon Mukhehi Jivhado, starting with the tongue, when the engagement in devotional service of the Lord takes place, Swayam Eva Swaratiyada. At that point, automatically the revelations will happen. But what is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is to have that small Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya, that small inclination to engage in this devotional service of the Lord. When that small inclination is there, then Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So Krishna kind of very emphatically says to Arjuna, because Arjuna has this question that what happens to a person who is trying to follow the spiritual path in a very sustained way, but somehow or the other loses all the material, whatever material things are needed to survive in the material world. He loses everything, and he has not fully succeeded even in the spiritual path as well. So what happens to such a person? And Krishna and Arjuna actually gives the example of that, of a cloud as well, like a lost cloud, like a small instead of a huge area of cloud, it's just a small cloud that has lost itself somewhere. So what happens is that person in a lost state. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna. Then Krishna says, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate. That in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. When someone is walking on the spiritual path, whatever distance one has covered, that distance is a permanent asset, and the person continues forward. There is no going backward. It's always a forward path towards the destination. It might be that sometimes it is going in different ways. It's not probably a straight path. It's probably a path which is crooked, but it is always going towards the destination. And then Krishna says, Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya. That just a small endeavor in this direction saves one from Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So Krishna says that one gets saved from the greatest dangers. The greatest dangers in this material universe, one gets saved from it. when one just takes a very small step in this direction. It need not be huge step, even a very small step in this direction. Swalpam. Swalpam is very minute. When that minute the quantity of endeavor is done, that is also appreciated by the Lord. That is the greatness of the Lord, that He even awards liberation to the demons. So what to speak of the devotees who are trying to endeavor a little bit in His direction. This is that's why we have that Karuna Sindhu verse. That is an ocean of mercy. Again, a metaphor given there to understand how compassionate the Lord is. Right. So we'll, in terms of the takeaway from this verse, say na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya shashvato vim purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The first takeaway from this verse is na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya, that the eternal nature of the living entity, that the living entity is eternally existing. There is no point in time. And the living entity is never going to die because the living entity has not taken birth. So that's the first takeaway. The second takeaway is Purano, that the permanency and the primeval nature of the living entity. And the third takeaway is Na Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire, that this body it changes. So dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti dhiras tatranam huyate. This the constant in the body, every moment the change is happening in the body, and the real us is unchangeable, is unmutable, and therefore na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So the last point, dhiras tatrana mohyati tata dehantaram prapti. So in the end, when this has to be given up, we have the understanding that this was something that was anyway temporary, and it is not me. I'm eternally existing. So this is the last takeaway. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We will now close this discussion of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 20. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.